Hey you guys, got some footage from Sacred Fire Temple of my fights against XiaoChi in one of the first BGs I did a couple days ago, and then I did a second one, and VixenQueen was there on the other team, so this was pretty fun for me. I always like trying to find as many strong players, people well over 600 KBR to fight and kind of get a feel for where I'm at with my tune. Also, just nice to keep those competitive juices going. um, so here, Chi gets the drop on me and can sylph a lot sooner. And usually that's not such a big deal because you can usually live through things pretty easily when your opponent's still attacking in the first minute. So there's no damage increase bonus. But in this case, Chi's hitting me really hard. I'll show her BR after this fight or so, and she's well over 750 KBR. I think it was 760 something, and so that's really pretty terrifying to me. I squeeze in a heal here, so it's pretty close. But once she gets that heal in, that heal rune, I'm pretty much done for at this point. Uh, so I tried to stick it out. Pretty much my only chance here was if I was able to finish the fight in Sylph mode. My physical defense is just not up to snuff against knights, so I feel like they hit me harder sometimes in class mode than they do with Sylph mode. But in that case, it's even worse for me because she was using a dark pet. But I do have quite a bit of dark resistance, so it's not terrible. So 769 KBR. I think I saw his attack stat at 157k or something. It's just crazy. So you guys can pause for the stats, but I didn't want to let the video dawdle too much. So this time, Chi leads with amnesia, which I don't think is quite as good um, of an idea as what she did before. I forget what she ends up doing once we get into Sylph mode, but maybe that amnesia rune is up in time again by the time we get to Sylph mode. So for me, even though I'm able to Sylph here, I like to wait and let it get closer. Okay, maybe I didn't feel like waiting this time. I was just about to say, I think I usually like to get closer to Sylph mode, but maybe I was feeling a little bit rushed right now. One thing I did notice about fighting Chi the first time is that she doesn't use Apollo Shield, which is actually more common amongst knights than you'd think it would be in single PvP. So here I just try and rush and get a win. So nice big Delphic, 530k, 38k crit there, which is really nice. If I hadn't crit, I probably would not. I probably need at least one more shot, and in that time, she might have been able to, devour soul or heal rune or something. So, um, so here, we're saying we're 1-1 now. So it took a while before I couldn't get another fight just trying to chase around Chi during the battleground. So I asked her if she'd have another go with me towards the last few minutes of the battleground, which was and she gladly obliged. I always am looking to get in good fights. I don't really care so much about points and things in battleground as much. I tried to cap out my honor each day, but that's about the extent of it. Um, so I don't think I show the footage of me asking Vixen later on, but really all these players are pretty nice about obliging me. They're not required by any means to just fight me just because I want to put it on video or I want to just play and have a good time. A lot of top players, they just like to get in and out and get their stuff done. Here I suck super hard. The amnesia one is really terrible, so I can't guardian rune, and I wasn't as far ahead of her in Sylph mode as the second fight, so she really got me there. And we even have time for one more. So trying to tie things up, but um, oh, I think I wanted my fire back, but because I remembered I was about to ask my guildie who was also in there where the other fires were because I lost mine to Chi, which is okay. Fires are 5 soul seals, which is nice, but it's not the end of the world. I don't know why I had so much rage here. Why I didn't just bother to do a rain of fire there. I just maybe just skip my mind, or why I'm using something. Why I'm using a bolt there instead of something more high cost, but I don't know. So this time again, trying to get into Sylph mode before Chi, just because it seemed like, sometimes it varies against the players that you go up against, but yeah, sometimes it's better to be in Sylph mode first, sometimes it's not. In this case, it felt like it was after a few fights that it was better that I try and get in there early. So that was a nice one. Maybe my fate thing, my fate bonus clicked in there, and it was a crit because that was very big for a shock chain, which is a relatively weak attack on its own. So I don't know what happened there, but not quite enough. Um, Looks like she gets a bunch of nice heals in there, a Devour Soul that crit, and also she just dodged my Delphic, which was really big. Yeah, I'm not sure I would have been able to take her out even if it had crit, but definitely because of, no crit and a dodge, my Delphic really didn't do enough there to do much. So here, here's the second of the 2 battlegrounds. So this is Chi and VixenQueen weren't in the same one, which is a good thing because I think my teams for Sacred Fire Temple would have been pretty sad had we been up against one with both XiaoChi and VixenQueen on them. But so later in the day, I was able to get in these fights with VixenQueen. VixenQueen's BR is considerably more modest compared to Chi's. At first, when I saw Chi in there and I saw how big her BR was, I was positively mortified. And it's still very hard, very high. I think it's somebody showed me a picture of it, and it was 730k something with her best selves. Um, but I'm pretty sure she must have been potted up to 769k BR. I don't know why somebody so big needs to pot up for Battleground, but I'm pretty sure 769k was a potted BR, not a real BR. And I think at the end of this video I have some stills of my BR. So here I managed to do pretty well against Vixen. Honestly, I think most of these knights would do better against me if they brought Apollo Shield, but most of the top, the strongest ones don't bother. So VQ up to 700, a little under 705k BR. Didn't quite see all her stats, but you guys can. Here leading off with EDD, which is interesting. A lot of them, I don't really think of EDD as like a super great PvP skill, but at the same time, they do a ton of damage. I just find them very high cost and very slow. But other knight attacks aren't as slow, so maybe it's okay. This was super bad news for me in the second fight. It's pretty much over the moment that I gave her my Centauria. Giving a Centauria to a knight is pretty unfortunate. Let me see what tick she gets from. Yeah, she gets like 40k HP every single turn with my Centauria, and I'm not able to heal very soon. Again, because that chaos is still on me, so it was a really good chaos on her part. There are ways to time things where. Oh, I was chaosed. I was still chaosed. How did I? Oh, that was weird. It looked like I was able to use my heal, but I wasn't able to get it out. I think because my skills were blinking or something. That's just a little strange. But yeah, there are ways, to make sure that your opponent doesn't have time to get in a chaos rune when you heal, or if they and if they're trying to guarantee that they can chaos your heals, they'll suffer in other ways in order to make sure that happens. But it's much more difficult timing. You usually have to do it as you see them doing a very slow skill like EDD or Apollo Shields or something like that. So it's much more difficult timing. It makes winning a lot more difficult. There I get a really nice illusion. I like to start out with Thundering Strike. I think most people have seen me PvP with Hercules, uh, have seen me do that. And then, so Thundering Strike, then Shock Chain to reduce their MDef. And after that, then I start thinking either Jupiter's Wrath or the Delphic. Here I was hoping for some like insane crit where I could just Delphic and win before she could get her shield up, but that didn't work. But managed to edge out a win here. So I think that's 1 and 3 with Chi at 769 KBR, and 2 and 1 with VixenQueen at around 705 KBR. I think those two would be closer competition if Chi weren't potted up. You know, they probably have at most like a 30 KBR difference. So I think uh, maybe it's much closer for them, whereas for me it's still a pretty big gap. But mages I think still have a pretty big advantage against knights in PvP or just in general. Here I just wanted to show my resistances. So against Chi I had 690 dark res, and against Vixen I had 987 electro. So that's pretty useful. And then just covering all my bases, showing my stats. In the BG I get some card bonuses, so it's like 650 KBR, also a little bit extra there. But this is what I have right now, and well, maybe it's a little bit higher. I do have some footage against Asher, which was pretty nice, but not. I think I only got one fight against her where it was close, but you know she definitely edged me out. Um, so I don't have a lot from that day. So maybe if I can catch her another time and get some more fights in, I'll show that. And yeah, let me know, you guys, who you want to see me fighting. If I see them in BG, I'll try and make sure that I try to get some fights in with them and record. I really do enjoy being able to PvP against people, so I really appreciate when, people like G and VQ and my other friends cross server oblige me and do these fights and let me show them around. So a big thanks to all of them. And yeah, until next time, take care, you guys. Have a very good day.